on, Wally. I gotta start the recording.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead now.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the meeting of the Sutton Planning Board for August 31st, 2020. And I want to read a statement to concerning remote conducted open meetings. What's this music? Good evening. The open meeting of the Sutton Planning Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's orders due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. While still ensuring public access, this order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Regardless of our inability to meet in person, it is our intent to ensure continued transparency and the ability of the public to at least view the actions of our board. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. Tonight's public meeting may feature public comment. For this meeting, the Sutton Planning Board is convened by Zoom teleconference as specified on the legally posted agenda. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you and that you may take care not to quote unquote screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Okay, so the first item that we have up here is a public hearing for 480 Boston Road. And that's for the scenic roadway public alteration. Mike, are you on here?
You want me to read it? I'll read it.
No, could you? Oh, first of all, okay. First of all, one of our members is not present, so Bill Talcott, who's our alternate, will be acting in their behalf. So, Bill, if you could read that public hearing notice, please.
Be happy to. In accordance with the provision of MGL Section 40, Section 15C and C, whatever, 87, Section 3, Scenic Roadway Law and Public Shade Tree Law, as well as Article 15 of the Sutton General Bylaw, Scenic Roadways, and Planning Board will hold a meeting on the application of Christine Goodwin, Cranston, Rhode Island. The applicant requests permission to remove one public shade tree and 48 inches of stone wall to improve the safety of entering and exiting this driveway at 480 Boston Road. The hearing will be held on Monday, August 31st, 2020 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Have any of the members had an opportunity to drive by and look at this particular situation? And does anybody have any comments at this point?
I
We'll get
drove
to you
by.
in a minute. Okay. I'm sorry.
I said I drove by, but why don't we let the applicant
Okay.
give the spiel?
Okay. Christine, if you could please introduce yourself and your address.
Yes, Christine Emery Goodwin. I currently live at 84 South Hill Drive in Cranston, and we're moving back to our house that's being built at 480 Boston Road, which we've owned continually for almost 16 years now. I sent some pictures to Jen by email late afternoon, and I'd like her to show them because what I wanted to ask was is permission just to push back the stone wall to its original position. I added that 48 inches when we bought the property in 2005 to accommodate putting a gate up on the entrance. So it would be narrowed and fit a 12-foot gate, but the original is, I don't know, is that the marked up one that you got? I sent you two, maybe.
Yes.
So I marked it up so you can see the difference in the new stone and the old stone. So not only have I paid to add that 48 inches, now I'm having to maybe pay to take it down. We put a 500-foot stone wall in the front of 488 Boston Road when we renovated. and David Carter, who did all the walls at Waters Farm, did those for me. And he had buttoned up that entranceway, as I mentioned, to accommodate the gate back at that time. But I'm asking to just return it to its original position. I'm hoping not to take the tree down. They've already put my driveway in. I just want to have the ability,
Okay.
if I needed to take the tree down in the future, that we could. But you can see to the right of the arrow and the dots, that is all newer stone, where all the, you can see the moss or mold on the other rocks to the left of that line. But that was where the original stone wall ended, was approximately where those dots are. I'm going to be taking the post down anyway, but I just wanted to be able to open up that even if it was 24 inches, but I'd really like to get the 48 if possible, but at least return it to what it was, and hopefully not have to take the tree down, since that was how it was until 16 years ago with that existing tree. So it's not pavement, it's a T-base, it's permeable. So we're not going to disrupt any of the roots for that tree as well. But again, I'd like to have the flexibility that if we did feel over time, you know, after living there, that it is a dangerous corner, that we'd like to be able to take the tree down. So I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone here, I guess.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I am sharing the picture that Christine sent to us. And I believe you can see in this picture, hopefully, the difference in the stone she was talking about between this old stone and the new stone. My only commentary, as you saw in my email, was this tree right here is in very tough shape. And if you eliminate this section of the wall and you widen this out, people are going to be driving over the root zone to the tree. And the root zone of the tree may also be disturbed by widening out the driveway. So if you took a drive by, you saw that this tree was in really tough shape. So if the board chooses to approve this, the applicant should be required to remove this tree. It is.
Jen, I have pictures of the tree today. I actually took them from another perspective. They're on my phone, but the tree's not in bad shape at all. It's not one of the dying trees. It's in absolutely perfect shape. There's no problem with any dying of the pine needles on it. And I really don't want to drive on that section. And I wouldn't mind if we even just took half of that, you know, that first clump of stones where you're pointing there. And continue to use it as it was for many 25 or 30 years. This was open and used for horse shows, and people drove over it all summer long without damaging the tree. So I'd be willing to do half the distance even, and not have to be required to take the tree at this point. But we got a lot of money invested in this whole project, and I'm trying to, you know, just return it to what it was. I'm not going to be digging it up or driving over it. It's more just to be able to you know, make that swing, and the post is coming out anyway. So it's more for sight line.
Okay. I do think the tree is in lousy shape. I did not get a report back from the tree warden today. I would have loved to have provided you with that, but it's up to the board.
I can email you right now. I'll email you the other picture. I took one looking straight up at the tree. And
Yeah.
you can see,
Yes.
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
So we have a few comments from some of the boards and departments in town, if I could read those in
Yes.
quickly.
Quick.
So payment of taxes, this is from, looks like the collector's office does not owe any taxes. The one comment I find to be helpful in this situation is from the fire department, from Robin Dresser. He says, please allow the driveway to be widened. This will allow better access for emergency services. I have done one inspection at this new construction and noticed that we would have an issue with our apparatus entering the driveway if this was not addressed. Now, I don't know if that's just the wall or if he thinks the tree is in the way of getting one of the trucks in there.
We've had tractor trailers in, and they haven't had, you know, they've you know, kind of to make the turn, they've had to kind of ride up on the opposite side of the street.
Okay.
But we've, you know, it would be helpful to, I think, once I take the posts down, especially
Yeah.
the post on either side.
Yeah.
But
I
we've
think
had no
for-
trouble getting this whole job. What really prompted me was the neighbor across the street was like, well, you're disturbing the soil at the base of my little stone wall there. And I thought, well, I don't want to have anybody upset with me.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately, I should have done this sooner because I didn't realize it because I'm not there every day when the deliveries are taking place. So
Yeah.
I apologize to him. We actually went over and spoke to his son to see, you know, that make sure that there was no issue with that. So
Sounds good.
anyhow,
Read that one there for Robin. Yeah, that's what I got right now. Perfect.
Okay. Any of the other board members have any comments on this? Scott?
I agree. If she wants to take that down, I have no problems with it. If the tree is dead, that should come down too. If it's alive, I don't have problems leaving it. So I would approve this. I have a question for you, Chris. What'd you say that driveway was made out of that's permeable to water?
it's called a T-base. It's permeable. So it allows drainage. It's a sand mixture with reclaimed asphalt. So it drains really nice. And I, you know, haven't been a horse person. We didn't want to do asphalt right away. We just did it up close to the house. It actually, with the rain this weekend, it was perfect. They just did this on Friday.
So it's already, that driveway's down, that material's
Yes.
down.
Yep, it's all down.
When you move it in,
Hopefully by the end of October. Everything's going so quickly. But did you get the other picture, Jen, that I just emailed of the tree? It doesn't have a subject in it. Sorry, I just sent it quickly.
Yeah, Wally, just to add on to my comments, I have no issue with her taking the wall back to its original position. If that's how the wall was before, and it's a new add-on, it's not like it's making a big difference there. As for the tree, if the tree warden deems it to be a danger, then I think it needs to be addressed. Other than that, I'm okay with the tree if it's perfectly healthy and alive. I know that this property has been used for horse shows in the past, and tons of trucks and trailers would have driven over that in its original position. And if the tree's still living after that, I don't think it's going to be an issue now.
It's
Okay.
definitely alive. It's not dead. I've been working with the town manager on trying to get 4 or 5 totally dead trees taken down from the monument because
Yeah.
they keep falling either on the street or on our property. So we're in the middle of that right now. But
Yeah.
this tree is healthy as can be.
Okay.
Oh, good. Mike, are you on here? I don't see you.
Mike was in here. I
He was
guess.
here.
He's here
Oh,
somewhere.
there he is. Okay. He's dark.
And
Oh, Bill,
Bob-
do you have any?
I concur. I see no problem
Okay.
with putting it back to the original, you know, pushing it back 48 inches. And if we can even, so you don't have to come back in front of us, give her permission to take the tree down with the caveat, either you replace, you know, a typical tree, not in the same spot, but, you know, another couple of feet over, or, you know, the donation to the tree fund in town, one or the other.
Okay.
And I will agree, there's some ugly looking trees in that little area there that they are not pretty.
Come
Oh,
down
they're
every
not-
corner.
They're not safe, the others, but this one is definitely a healthy one.
Okay.
And did you get my email yet, Jen?
Looks like Jen is muted.
No, it hasn't come through yet. I'm hitting send and receive all and nothing's coming through.
Hey, Jen, did you
I'm gonna-
say the tree warden looked at that tree?
No, I haven't heard back from the tree warden on that tree.
Okay.
I
Thank
was
you.
concerned about it. It looked declining to me. So I asked for an input by him and haven't heard from him yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Mike,
just sent you another one, Jen, so, and from my personal email instead of, from my, phone, so it should come through.
Mike, are you on here?
You're muted, Jen.
okay.
Geez, that's our fearless leader.
Oh, okay. I concur with the other board members. Oh, there's Bob. Are you Bob?
missed most of the conversation, so I'll abstain for now.
Okay. I would concur with the other board members, and I would say you could take out that wall. And it was a Bill made the suggestion that, if the tree comes down later, then you could take it down, and perhaps a donation to the, a donation to the town tree fund would be appropriate. And I'm particularly concerned if the fire apparatus would have a problem getting in there. That could be a serious, a minute or two.
I
that would be a
agree.
serious issue.
That'd
I
be my
agree.
one
If it
question.
was, I would take it down and I would have asked long ago, but it's not been an issue up till now, except for the
No.
neighbor's lawn.
And I agree with you on the Rufus Putnam Monument. It received extensive damage here a few years ago in some kind of a storm, and it's still in
Looks
pretty
terrible.
tough shape.
I agree.
It's, wow.
I've been 3 months trying to get it fixed up there, and I'll stay after them. I told them they could drop the trees on my fields to make it easier for them, but there's 5 dead trees,
Wow. Okay.
and they're coming down soon.
They come down about every storm, a new one comes down the
Yeah.
same.
Now,
Christine, I did get your email and it's the same picture you already sent me.
Oh, no, of the tree,
Yeah, it's the entrance again. One just
Oh,
came
no.
through 7:16 PM and it's the same entrance photo.
Oh, I can promise you the tree is healthy.
Okay.
So
Um,
my one thing on the tree is if the tree warden is gonna look at it,
Yeah.
I think Jen and other board members, we wait for his opinion as tree warden. That's his duty to decide if the tree's living. We can
How
all,
soon would we be able to get an answer? Because I've got people working there with equipment now, so it would be, that's why I was thrilled to be able to get on to this meeting.
yeah. I don't know, we'd have to check with the tree warden. If Jen's already asked him to take a look, I'm sure it's in his agenda to take a look soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not on vacation, which I think he's not, he could probably look at it tomorrow.
I'll be there tomorrow too.
That would be my one thing. I'd like to get the tree warden's opinion on it. And even if Jen, tomorrow, you could reach out to Rob and see if the tree was their apparatus or if it was just the wall and the fence post, which is my guess, but just double check comments maybe.
That's a good
Sure, I
point.
can do that.
Can we move forward with just getting that stonework done?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable
Yes.
getting stonework removed, yeah.
Yes.
And Jen, I just sent you the correct picture, so hopefully you got it this time.
But
Now, is there anyone else, is there anyone else out on the Zoom world that has comments on this particular issue?
I believe Cindy Taylor Hill is the only other non-board member here. I don't know if she's here for something else. Cindy, if you're here for this, could you unmute yourself?
There's the tree.
There's the tree. Oh,
You can see there's no dead branches. It's,
Yeah,
it's
too bad, but
mm,
tree expert, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's my amateur photography with my iPhone. So I'm trying to show you that it was alive, I guess. That was today. That was
That
taken
tree
today.
definitely looks healthier than some of the big ones around the monument, that's sure.
right. I don't think it's dead. I think it's declining. And if you look at it from a distance, it's, yeah, it just does not look healthy. It looks like all the other ones in that area right before we had to pull them down. That was my concern.
Okay. Well, Jen, do we need a motion on this?
Well, it depends on how you want to handle it. If you want to do a conditional approval, you can do that. Otherwise, you're pushing a decision on this out until September 14th, which I think Ms. Emery
No.
wanted to
Can I
move
take-
before that.
Yeah,
Can I make a motion with a condition?
Absolutely.
yeah.
I make a
Yes,
motion,
please.
I make a motion, we approve the shortening of the stone wall by, I believe it was 48 inches. And the tree on condition of the tree warden. I don't know how we condition it. The tree warden says the tree is alive, then it can stay. If he says it's dead, then it be removed.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Can we add then, if the tree is removed, either something we place in the general vicinity or a donation to the tree fund?
This is Bob Largest weighing in. I live at 298 Boston Road. And just for information for the board, I won't vote, I'll recuse myself from this. I had a stand of pine trees at 298 Boston Road below my house. Once you lose one tree, it's a stand, the rest are going. I also have had a stand of pine trees behind my house in my driveway. And once I started losing one, they're all doomed. So even if they're healthy, because there was a stand of pines there, once they get compromised and the wind blows, things aren't going to stand. So just be prepared for the future. There's trees coming down. I feel badly when it happens, even when they're alive. My 2 cents.
You've got about 40 trees that are all tagged, that eventually all of them are coming down, but this one's not coming down right away. It's
No.
healthy.
Yeah, no, they're healthy. I have healthy trees that I had that just blew down because previous ones went down. So I lost them all. It's unfortunate.
Well, in the 15, 20 years that I've been associated with this land, there's been more trees come around from the monument, but not the main property, the main where it used to be the main driveway at 488 Boston Road. So
Yep.
there's a lot of very strong, healthy pine trees there. They're not going down quickly.
I would agree with that. I know the
Yeah.
problem.
I hope they all stand. I want them to stand. I wanted mine to stand. Well, it's all right.
But we did a
Mike,
lot
are
of
you-
work. We spent 3 days working on these trees when we first bought the
It was
property
great.
in
Yeah, it was
2005.
great.
Mike, are you on
What's
here?
the question? Call for a vote.
Okay. All those.
Mr. Chairman,
roll call.
Mike's,
Scott, Paul, Mike, are you?
Mike's watching. He's just having trouble reconnecting audio. So it's not a special permit. So all you need is a majority. So just go ahead with what
Okay.
you've got.
Okay, Scott, we'll call on you first to vote.
Aye.
Okay. Bob, you're going to abstain?
Yeah, I missed a big part of the conversation.
Okay. Bill?
I'll second the motion, and I certainly agree.
Okay. Kyle?
Kyle Bergson's aye.
Wally Baker's aye. So it passes 4-0-1.
Yeah, so I guess the stone wall can come down and just wait on the tree warden's assessment of the tree on whether it is deemed unhealthy or not. Hopefully tomorrow or the day after, he can get out there and look at it.
Okay, that'd be great. And I'll be there if he's available tomorrow. I'll be there midday, late morning, midday.
And Jen, if you could just check with Robin on his comment, just out of curiosity, I guess, more so.
Sure. I'll send them both an email right after the meeting.
Thank you.
But should the proponent know is there appeal period still on something like this, Jen?
No, this isn't a special permit. Anybody can appeal anything, but there's no formal appeal period on a scenic roadway
Okay.
hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody. I
Ms. Goodwin.
appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming in and doing
Yeah.
it right.
Yes.
Well, we've always done that. I don't want to play anything but by the rules. And,
Well done.
and that's why
Well
we
done.
put the driveway where we put it. People weren't happy. I moved it. It cost me another $30,000 to put the driveway where it was. I had to forego my barn, but we'll get there eventually. Everybody, I really appreciate it.
Good
good
luck
luck.
to you.
Thank you. We're looking forward to coming back to town.
Looking forward to having you back.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Okay, I guess the next item that we have up on the agenda is Wedgewood Farm.
Mr. Chairman, can we do a motion to close that hearing first?
That probably would be
I'll
appropriate.
make a motion to close the hearing for 480 Boston Road.
Do I have a
I
second?
second that. There you go.
Okay. Any comment? Okay. Kyle,
Kyle Bergson's aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Bill, and Bob.
I'm recusing myself. Yeah.
Okay. Wally Baker's votes aye. So the vote is 4-0-1. Sorry about
Thank you.
that. Okay. What's that noise? Anyway, so now we have Wedgewood Farms endorsed covenant and plans. Jen, could you update us on this, please?
Actually, I think we have a Lincoln Road plan first, so let me share that to the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I believe Mr. Norman Hill is here, so let me share that. And Norman, if you can tag in. Let me, Norm, I see the land surveyor on the meeting. I don't see sound, and the camera is also off. So I'm gonna ask to start video, but I don't know where the microphone is. So basically I'll walk through this. It's pretty basic. This is a Form A plan you've seen before. You'll recall it was actually 1, 2, 3, and a 4th lot with an entrance over here. Before, this potential lot owner does not want an entrance near them. So they've basically adjusted the frontage on this lot, and now there's just 3 lots. So this lot, and this giant remaining one that, as you can see from the note on the plan, is non-buildable. So this lot is identical, hasn't been changed at all. This lot line, this lot has been widened out, and the rear lot is now one whole lot. So this is Crosby, the existing abutter on Central Turnpike. This is Feely, who was the lot 2 from this subdivision that's already been transferred. So now you have lot 1, which is bigger, and all of the frontage on the corner is part of lot 1. And then the backland that you can see right there in the locust plan. You can see all of this backland up here is now parcel A. So this whole parcel was broken to 4, and now it will be 3 lots. So that's all this plan does, is just get rid of that 4th lot that was hanging out there that needed approval of a retreat lot, driveway, etc. from the town. And it puts that back parcel just into one giant non-buildable parcel. So are there any questions on that?
Jen, when you say non-buildable, just a parcel.
Yeah, so when we call them lot 1 and lot 2 lots when they're buildable, and we
Right.
call it a parcel if it's not buildable. As you can see, if you look at this one, this is all wetlands. It's all wetlands. This is an island right here, an upland island. So right now, there is no practical access into this lot from its legal frontage right here. So the board could not sign this as a buildable lot. The frontage is what we would call illusory under Mass General Law and case law. The frontage is illusory. So what they would have to do to use this is get an approval from the Conservation Commission to like build a big old bridge over this or something, or gain access from some other way. So right now, because there is no real access from Lincoln Road into the parcel, it is still labeled as a non-buildable parcel because you can't get here from here. It's all just a big loop of wetlands with an island in the middle.
Call it a riverfront.
Yeah, it's got some riverfront line as well. But yeah, this is all just wetland, and then you've got a riverfront line over here on this side. So.
It may be because as you know, I've wrestled, this is Bob Largest, I wrestled with this in the past when it says it's not buildable. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, this is buildable if someone wants to spend enough money to build a bridge or to buy adjoining property somewhere and do a cross. If you have enough money to cross a wetland, you can do that.
Yep.
So we should say not buildable in this state or in this condition.
Right, and you do see sometimes, it depends on the surveyor. Sometimes they'll put not buildable without further action by the town if it's waiting for a retreat lot. But in this case, it's not buildable unless somebody wants to spend a lot of money. So we just have them label it non-buildable. So, because really the reality of this is, unless somebody wants to spend a lot of money, is the only way it will become buildable.
Okay.
So, okay. So I think the current date on this plan is, what is the current date on this? Oops, sorry. Let me see. The current date on that plan.
August 19th?
Yep, August 19th. So otherwise the plan is fully compliant. So you just need a motion to approve the plan showing the adjustment of lot lines. There's no new buildable lots here. You've just adjusted lot lines.
Mr. Chairperson, this is Bob Lodge. I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody out there that wants to make a comment on this process? Okay. Do any of the board members have any additional questions or comments?
Nothing here.
Okay. Then I guess we will have a vote. The chair votes to accept. Scott?
Yay.
Bob?
Bob Lodge, aye.
Bill?
Bill Talcott, aye.
Kyle?
Kyle Bergerson, aye.
Okay. So this passes 5-0-0.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jen, for explaining that.
Sure.
I was wondering where one of those lots went.
Yep. Bye-bye. Yep, it's
Bye.
gone
Okay.
bye-bye. Okay,
The next-
Wedgewood plan, Wedgewood Farms. You will recall, and let me get to the right page and then I will share the screen on this one. Wedgewood Farms is the 93 unit, over 55 developments. That is to be on Armsby Road. And I'm just gonna get to the right page and refresh your memory if you need any refreshing. You probably don't. Okay, let's go to share screen. Share screen. Here we go. All right, so this is Wedgewood Farms. You'll recall it is both north and south of Armsby Road. There's a total of 93 units. This plan was approved by the board quite some time ago, but the current owner has been negotiating access and emergency access, water, sewer, and gas easements with the villas at Pleasant Valley, because that will all need to connect through the villas at Pleasant Valley. So that's all accomplished. We have all that paperwork. So now this is the final set of signature plans. And we have also done a covenant required by the bylaw that basically says they don't get any occupancy on any of these units until the roadways and public, I shouldn't say public services, but private services in this case, to serve those units are done and or they're adequate for emergency vehicle access and otherwise bonded. So like you can have the base course in to get to a group of houses, like say these ones, as they start to build out. And you could sell these houses as long as the top course and all the other site work for this bubble here are bonded through an insurance bond, a cash bond, or a tri-party agreement. So the first thing we need to do is approve the covenant that says you're not transferring anything until you're done or there's other bonding in place. And then we need to vote to endorse the plans. I would recommend that if the board decides to do that, they do that in accordance with, hold on a minute, I just need to move this out of my way. They do that in accordance with I believe it's these right here. Yeah, the final comments by Graves Engineering, which are just minor. If you look at these final comments that came by email, they just have some tiny little fixes that need to be done to a few different sheets. Okay, so this is ready for approval. A motion to approve the covenant and a motion to endorse the definitive plans with the adjustments per the Graves email of August 28th.
So Jen, are we making a motion on the covenant with those Graves comments, or is that on the plan?
That's the plans.
So first we need a motion for the covenant, correct?
Yes.
Sounds like a
So-
motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the covenant for Wedgewood Farms on Armstrong Road.
Bob Lodges, this is a second.
Any of the board members have any comments on this? Does any? Oh, okay.
So just so we understand, but Wally, wait a minute. So just as we understand, because heading down these trails again, here we are, you know, we're going to go on for years with this thing. And to make sure the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, they won't be able to sell a piece of property until they either post a bond or satisfy the requirements of this covenant, which means the houses that they're selling in that whole area has to have safe access, has to have all the utilities, and all the grading and site work needs to be complete.
Yes.
Yeah, you could go by pod, like, I mean, so you wouldn't want them to have to finish the entire project necessarily, but, you know, all of the roadway, all of the utilities, all of that in each of these pods needs to be completed or bonded to let you, right now it just says you don't get occupancy. I can adjust the language of the covenant so it says you can't transfer.
Transfer ownership.
Yeah, you can't transfer, you could do transfer. I just didn't even want them to get occupancy really for sales or anything.
'Cause occupancy comes first.
Right.
Well, it could come, so I can word it that way if you want, just adjust the wording. You won't be able to transfer unit or gain occupancy. You want me to just adjust that a little bit? So it's both?
No, I think if it's occupancy, to me, an occupancy permit is the purview of the building inspector.
Mm-hmm.
So he shouldn't release that. Once that's released, they can sell it. I assume that we would be in that loop.
Yes, we are in that loop. Yeah, so that's how it's worded right now, no occupancy. And if they violate terms of the covenant, we change the language. You'll require a standard subdivision covenant, just says the board can revoke approval, which does nobody any good. So we've changed our language in our subdivision and these kind of covenants that says if you violate any provision of this covenant, we can deny occupancies and we can even request the building commissioner deny building permits for additional units.
And where is it in this covenant that says that one portion or one grouping of homes could be released if they satisfy these requirements?
Let me show you.
Because some of my concern is that, you know, maybe sales don't go the way they think. They get one area done, the other area is torn up. And it sits like that for 5 years. And he's
Yeah,
every other week complaining about it.
right. On this one, you'll see the different wording right here. The owner has decided to secure the construction of ways, installation of services, and land restoration by means of a covenant. So this one includes land restoration. So if you want, I'd have to look at the approval condition, but you can potentially require the land restoration bond prior to commencement of construction, at least so you'll have at least a land restoration bond. So then if, like you said, if they do a pod and they walk and anything else is disturbed, the land can at least be restored.
For the remaining,
Mhm.
remaining parcels or areas.
Right. So I can adjust the wording in this or just take this out and let the owner know that the board has decided the land restoration bond needs to be placed in advance of start of construction. And that's $10,000 per acre of whatever's going to be disturbed on top of normal bonding.
I read that sentence as the project. I don't see a delineation of
Nope. Nope, it doesn't. This is like a standard subdivision bond. So if you scroll down, so here's the owner shall not convey or transfer title except as otherwise until completion of the construction of ways, blah, 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 in accordance with approval instruments. This is actually, I thought that was occupancy. Oh, I see what it does. It was can't transfer the unit, and we can withhold. Owner agrees and understands that failure to comply with the provisions could result in the planning board requesting the building commissioner suspend issuance of building or occupancy permits or rescission of the approval, which does nobody any good. I'm just
thinking of forest edge.
Right. And we do hold a land restoration bond on that one. Separate land restoration bond. This is worded so, where is the, I just want to see in part, upon completion, land restoration, the planning board shall be recorded. So you got to finish it and then we'll let it go. We won't, so this one can be transfer title or occupancy. We can switch that to occupancy there. This has an end date right now of August 31st, 2022.
For what? For what? The whole
For the
thing?
whole project.
Of course, we saw that go skipping down the lane on Forest Edge, right? That's
Right. So they have to come back in.
They have to come back in and extend the covenant. How many
Yep.
times have we done that? Right.
Right. Okay, right here. The owner agrees and understands that the planning board will not release the covenant in full unless another method of security is provided or until the ways and services and restoration have been deemed to be constructed and installed in accordance with the approval. No provision of this covenant shall prevent the owner from varying the method of securing this construction by one or in part by one and in part by another method. So you can have, say they start construction on the north and they start selling things. They can switch that to an insurance bond, a cash bond, or a lender's agreement. And the southern half can still be covered by the covenant. So you would release the covenant with respect to the units numbered blah through blah on the north. And then you would have a, you'd retain the covenant on the south. We did that with Forest Edge once everything got all fixed. So we had a covenant in place for phase 2 because they weren't working in phase 2 yet. And we had a lender's agreement in phase 1. That's the one they reneged on the first time around. So do you have questions about this? I mean, again, we can pull the land restoration out and just let the applicant know. I just took a quick look at the approval instrument and it looks like you can require that at any point, the land restoration bond.
No, I think we should have that. We should have this. I think it's okay the way it is. I'm just concerned that we're going to end up with a torn up 60% of that land over there torn up, and they've sold 6 houses, and it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, on this one, it very clearly says they can't transfer anything until the services are complete or they're bonded.
Yeah. Okay.
And we worded this agreement so it doesn't just say construction of ways and installation of services. It also loops in land restoration. And land restoration is defined in our bylaw as every acre of land disturbed at $10,000 per acre.
We have, from what I know, we have yet to pull a land restoration bond, right? We don't want to do that.
We haven't needed to, thankfully.
No. Not in that business.
So do you have more questions on the format of the covenant? And do you want me to do shall not convey or transfer title to shall not be granted an occupancy permit?
I think that's consistent with the beginning part, and I think that's a much, because if they get an occupancy permit,
Or change this?
that, yeah, if they get the permit, if they get by John, then we have a different type of problem, so.
I would be comfortable with occupancy.
All right, so just switch
But-
this wording till shall not be granted an occupancy permit within the project. Okay,
And
Yeah.
so,
Sure.
so the way I read this, if I was the lawyer on the other side, I'd say, well, the whole project consists of 90 units. We don't plan on finishing 90 units by the
Nope.
22nd. We want to sell 10 and then 10 and then 10.
right, and and they often do push back on that date, but as you know, we never give a date that's more than 2 years out because of that. We need to keep an eye on what's going on. So we need them to regularly come back to the board and update us on everything that's going on.
Right.
Especially because this project will be done probably in 2 phases, if not 4 phases, but at least 2, north and south of Armsby Road.
And from the standpoint of the people that are moving in there, the project as a whole is what they're buying. And so
Absolutely.
unless Forest Edge, which is only what, 2/3 done?
Yeah, it's about 2/3 done.
Yeah.
Forest Edge had some other issues with open land in another town, so it got convoluted, I guess would be the right word. It didn't go
Yeah.
smoothly. And I don't know what the plans are for this this concept, which I think is great for use of the land. But I would think they'd want to make all the connections in the northern pods first, as opposed to building on the south side of Armsby Road. I mean, I don't know what their plans are as to where. I don't want to. They have to be connected through the village.
All of their utility
Yeah.
connections are right here.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to do
If they
earthwork
build
in
to the
this area.
south, I don't know. They have to decide which side they're going to start on. But
Right.
it seems to me they should be working in the north of Armsby Road first to make sure all the connections and everything's working, and then go south and do phase 2 or 3 or whatever the phases are. But there's no land in another town that really make a problem at Forest Edge. And Forest Edge is done as you come off the street. The completed part is done, and they have to deal with the rest later when the market bears that.
Right.
Do they have a on-site septic system?
No, they are actually
Sewer.
connecting to sewer through the villas.
All right.
I was just scrolling down to the open space plan because it kind of gives you a better idea.
I
This is
believe when
the,
they,
so this is the open space. That doesn't mean fully vegetated, by the way. But this is the open space plan. So, the open space on this project is fully within Sutton and is substantial. Per this set of plans, you'll see, in addition to the area around the units themselves, they will be clearing trees within those setbacks per the board's approval, and we'll be reviewing those as they do the clearing to see if we immediately want them to plant some supplemental plantings, particularly here, I believe. This is not so big a deal. And this is not so big a deal because you almost want the project to be visible to some degree from the highway. But probably in this area, once they do the removal over here of trees for grading for this roadway and these units, we'll be having them do some restoration. Because you're right up against this house there, you can see. All right, so do we
Okay.
have any more questions on the covenant or on these plans, which are substantial? And all of these sheets that you see are part of the plan set. And in addition to 2 plans that Graves referenced, which are the photometrics plans. So when you come to sign the set, you'll also see the photometrics, the light shed plan, basically.
Okay. There are no more questions, and I guess we'll move on to the Gilmore Drive.
Well,
need
we
to-
have a motion and a second for
We
approval
need a
of the
vote
covenant.
to endorse the covenant.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So wait, before we go on, what is that, right next to lot 2, just to the right of the word lot 2, south of Armstrong Road? What is that rectangular shaped thing there?
Hold on.
That's why,
Where
right there, right in the middle of the screen, what is that? That's why I asked about the septic.
Where?
Right there, right smack in the middle,
This?
right there, yeah.
Yes.
What is
Oh,
that?
that's a bocce court and community gardens.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know
Way
that?
better than a septic system.
No wonder. I guess I didn't recognize the
You
court.
have to be an owner. You could be, you got visit team. You want to go visit.
Gotcha. Bring my bocce ball.
Yes.
I remember when they were doing the plans, when they got permission or knew they were gonna get permission, they removed, 2 or 3 septic things and added 2 or 3 units.
Yeah, because they could have designed, so there's your close-up on the bocce in the
Maybe that's why
community.
it's in my mind, yeah.
Yeah, they were going to do group septic systems, and you'll remember we adjusted the bylaws a little bit because
That's
they made a
right.
great argument of why you didn't really need certain approvals
Yeah.
for certain size
'Cause they were in
systems.
the aquifer. Right.
Right, and then they came back and negotiated with the villas and asserted that they had an easement from Mingola to hook into sewer. And they asserted that, completed some additional negotiations with villas on terms of water and gas and the emergency connection. And now all that's been settled. And they will be using town sewer.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we need a motion
Getting water
to
too. They're getting water from Wilkes Water.
Wilkes Water.
They are getting water from Wilkes Water. About 13,000, 14,000 gallons a day when all is said and done.
Hope they don't run out of water over there at Wilkes.
I have an email that says there's plenty of water.
Oh, plenty of water now. All right.
Recently.
Yeah, we found some.
Yeah, some of the board members
So-
wish they don't run out either.
Can we have so we need to finish the vote on the covenant and then a motion to endorse the plans with the latest date, which is August 21st, 2020.
I'll make a motion that we approve the covenant as edited this evening for Wedgewood.
We actually, I had a motion by Kyle and a second by Bob. You want to just, Kyle and Bob, are you okay with that amendment motion?
Perfectly happy with amending my motion.
Same here.
Okay, so approve the covenant as we discussed, amended tonight by Kyle, second by Bob.
With amendment, yep.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can you finish that, please?
All for a vote.
Let's call for a vote. Kyle,
Kyle Berg's aye.
Bill,
Bill Talcott, aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Bob,
Bob Lodges, aye.
Wally Baker, aye. The vote is 5-0-0.
You've got Mike Gagan back on. Mike, were you in through all that conversation?
No, I wasn't, so I would have to abstain because I've been vaping
Okay.
in and out. I've played nothing.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll
Mr.
work on.
Chairman,
Now, motion
that's
to endorse
five.
the plans dated.
401.
make a motion to approve the plans dated August 21st, 2020 with the following conditions from Graves Engineering. One, both of these sheets, sheets C1 and C4.02, both these sheets were in the PDFs and he needs, no issues with the plan. Two, he was missing sheet EX105, couldn't find any of the EX1XX plans. Sorry, just finding where I was. PDFs that were emailed. I don't feel I need a check sheet there, but should be in the plans set that will be endorsed by the board. On sheet C201, 2 parallel parking spaces were added to Wedgewood Drive, I assume to serve the mailboxes. He has no issues with the dimensions of those parking spaces. Sheet C301 and C304, in the plan view of sheet C305, are missing the leader labels that identify the sewer pipes. For example, S21 and L15. The labels are needed so that the contractor can use the sewer pipe data tables on these sheets. 5, in the profile view of sheets C305 to C310, the data labels, length, slope, and diameter are missing. If these labels were intentionally turned off because the data is redundant, the data is also tabulated on sheet C301 and C304, then he's okay with the data missing. If the data was inadvertently turned off, then it should be turned back on. And 6, C401 and C410, hatching previously shown to define the areas of the slope, seed mix, and the stormwater basins is now turned off and needs to be turned on.
Second, Bob Largis.
Bob Lodge seconded. Is there any comments from any of the board members?
Nope. I'm
Okay,
comfortable.
then yes, then we will call for a vote. Kyle?
Kyle Bergerson, aye.
Okay. Bob?
Bob Largis, aye.
Scott?
Aye.
I don't know.
Bill
Bill?
Dalcott, aye.
Okay. Mike, I don't know. You've missed
Yeah. Right,
most of,
I'm,
okay, aye.
I'll abstain, as I have missed a lot of it, yes.
Okay. And Wally Baker votes aye. So the vote is 5-0-1. Okay,
Alrighty.
good. So now we can go on to hopefully Gilmore Drive, the as-built approval and bond reduction.
Well, hopefully you could, but
Oh, maybe, okay.
let me
Another
update you. We
curveball.
are making progress, but we're not quite there. So the surety documents have all been adjusted. We hold the bond right now on this project for $1.7 million plus. And all that it needs to be done is the landscaping in the middle of the cul-de-sac that will be put back in place after the compressed natural gas station is removed, and some bounds. They're trying to get the bounds in within the next week. They'd like those not to be in the surety agreement because they would have to have a different date and it would messy up the surety agreement. If they don't have them in before the next meeting, they're going to just include the cost of that. And then the bond will, needless to say, come way down from 1.7 to probably less than $50,000. So we're just working on that. They're just working on that the bound issue, putting in bounds for the right of way up there.
When's our
Ray's
next-
Engineering and Andrew's survey have been going back on plan details like you just saw on Wedgewood. So we're almost there with this one. Hopefully you'll only see it on the agenda one more time for actual action.
That'll be September 14th.
Yeah, that should be September 14th. Everything
Okay.
should be all set.
Couple days lost for Labor Day, but it should be done.
Yeah,
And
okay,
we should
Oh,
so
be-
yeah.
we'll just move that to the next agenda.
Right.
Do we need a motion to move it, Jen, or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have the minutes of our meeting on 8/17. Hopefully
I'll make a
everyone's had
make a
an
motion.
opportunity to read them. Yes, Bob.
I'll make a motion that I approve the minutes from 8/17. I find no errors.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments? So I guess we'll have a vote. Wally Baker votes to accept. Scott,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye, Bob Largis.
okay, Mike,
I, Mike Hagan,
okay, Kyle,
Kyle Bergson, I abstain. I was not here last meeting. I did, however, watch the meeting.
okay, Bill. Your sound is off.
Oh, aye.
Aye, okay. So the vote is 5-0-1. Okay. We have one other item here I just want to bring to the board's attention before we get to this Blackstone logistics question. And that is we have Central Mass Regional Planning. And I was wondering if anyone here on the board wants to participate in that.
What's the date?
Pardon me?
The
I
date.
believe,
Is it like the 10th or something is the first one? It'll be a Zoom meeting. They're not doing in-person meetings.
Wally, are you asking if somebody wants to just attend the next meeting or wants to be the delegate in your
Oh,
place?
I'm sorry, to be the delegate.
Oh.
If nobody wants to be the delegate, I'll do it. I just didn't, I just,
The baton, good job, Wally. Be a leader. Share the responsibility.
I told you, Wally, you're doing too good a job at it.
yeah.
Yeah, you got a vice president maybe, you can slide down.
I'm replaceable.
Represent us.
Well, working with them on a couple projects that have involved Sutton over the last 4 or 5 years or whatever it's been, they've been very helpful and they have a ton of knowledge in there. And I just want to maintain a conduit of communication with the town and that organization, so we can receive the benefit of their expertise in whatever topic comes up that we might need some help in. Okay, so now we have the Blackstone Logistics Center.
All right, I am going to share an image to the screen with you, so we can just walk through this really quickly. So we received this environmental notification form. Here we are in Sutton, right here.
Mhm.
This is Gilmore Drive right here. And this is the 4-town area. You have the town of Northbridge here, the town of Sutton here, the town of Douglas right here, and the town of Uxbridge right here. You'll recall we were talking about a multi-town mixed commerce district down here that didn't get passed at one of the past town meetings. Well, this red area is a parcel that is owned by Mary Bedoin. This has long been a sand pit, and you'll see that here. You can see where the earth removal has been done. And as we've discussed in the past, Mary and her brother, who is now deceased, were very smart buying this land and taking all the earth out of it. And the town had anticipated quite some time ago that this would be a very good spot for future development, especially because as you look at this, you are right between exit 5 right here to 146 and exit 4 right here on 146.
Mm-hmm.
So as we anticipated, there is a development proposal here that straddles the town lines, Sutton, Douglas, and Uxbridge. And so there you are, those Sutton, Douglas, Uxbridge. That's some wetlands in Uxbridge that you see there. And there's some more. So this is what's proposed through this environmental notification form. So we are, here, I'm gonna go to the next one or one of these next ones, okay, here's the long view. So this is Oakhurst Road in Sutton. This is Lackey Dam Road. This is, so you're coming about, I think that says what, 2,900 linear feet from this neighborhood, from the Jenna Lane entrance down to, I don't know, from Whitensville connection on Jenna Lane. So this distance to here. So from here to here is about 2,900 linear feet. This is a drainage basin here. This is a drainage basin here. The entrance is actually all the way down here. And then you would go, this is right here is exit 4. So you can see this is a proposed 606,000 square foot logistics center that straddles the town line. So
is this the same area where we were having the height discussion issues?
yeah, we were having the height discussion. Again, they're proceeding with This is in the Route 146 overlay district, so this can go to 45 feet
Okay.
under the existing regs. So, and there's been no push from these developers to go to 60 feet. So 45 feet apparently is adequate for what they are planning currently. Now, so this is the layout. You can see there's lots of parking spaces. These look like truck spaces, I think, and these look like car spaces. And these look like car spaces. And if you go, let me see if I can actually get there. If you go, whoops, this is a giant document, sorry. Gives me some problems here. There is a narrative. I provided you guys with the actual environmental notification form, which is what you see here. And you can see 70 acres of land, 25 new acres of land altered, because obviously a whole bunch has already been altered with earth removal. 32 acres of impervious, 605, not 606 square feet. Maximum height 45 feet, over 1,000 vehicle trips a day, 570 parking spaces. There's your water and wastewater use. They're planning on doing on-site septic, but I think are planning on tying into somebody's water, either Whitensville water or Douglas water. And you can see the length of the water main right there. And this is what it says. The proposed work includes construction of 605 square foot warehouse distribution facility and associated appurtenances. Access to the building is proposed via driveway off Lackey Dam Road in Uxbridge, with an emergency access drive proposed further north. Lackey Dam Road, adjacent to the electrical easement, total of 570 truck, trailer, and automobile parking spaces. Truck traffic is anticipated to travel the project site via 146 to Lackey Dam Road, limiting impact on local roadways. Wastewater generation, and then a 2,900 foot connection to the 10-inch water main. So they're going north with the water into Sutton for Whitensville water. And this goes on. And then there's a narrative in here as well that I provided to the board. This has all been posted on the town's website as well. And as you know, when we get an ENF, we review the ENF and we provide comments. So if the board can take a look at the environmental notification form, you have the meat of it. The only stuff I didn't give you is the actual calculations, like for stormwater and things like that. And I will also be reviewing it, and we'll prepare a letter to MEPA, the Mass Environmental Protection Agency, on our initial comments on this. And obviously one of the initial comments is that to be approved in Sutton, this project right now would require a variance from the 25-foot separation to town line criteria. So that's an initial comment that would need to be submitted from Sutton. And then we'll just review all of this stuff in the 232-page document. And this is the narrative. You can see the developer on this one is proposed to be Skinnell, who is the same developer that built the Prime Metals building. And it gives you the same description really of what they intend. There is no named person. It is just a use. As you know, rarely do they name users at this stage. So we might need to have a discussion on that, because obviously 605 square feet of certain type warehouses is different than 605 square feet of other types of warehouses. So we should probably talk about that a little bit as we move forward.
How big,
but there's
how big is that building on
the building that's proposed?
Yeah, dimension, side and. Yeah,
oh, okay. These are alternatives, by the way, that one and this one. So they've considered 800,000 square feet there, and they considered two buildings totaling almost 800. And they landed on this one. So it looks like, I can't read it. Here, let me go to the biggest. Let me zoom, see if I can zoom in on that.
5000.
There you go. 1,100 linear feet long by 550 feet wide.
Wow.
So well over a football field by almost 3 football fields. Actually, yes,
4,
over 3
close
football
to
fields.
4.
Yep.
2 by 4.
It's a significant size building. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Atlas Box right now is just over 400,000. So
Right.
take Atlas Box and stick on another half of Atlas Box. It's a
What-
good sized building.
Now, what part of that building is in Sutton, Jen?
If you extend the town line, you have kind of a diagonal line here. Oh, I'm not sharing right now. Oh, yes, I am. Kind of a
1/3.
diagonal line here and over here. So
A
I'd
third?
say, yeah, about a third.
He's in Sutton.
Yeah, about a third. And Uxbridge has the largest section of this building, and Douglas has a very small section of the building. So we just need to follow our standard operating procedure, review the ENF, provide our commentary with questions, concerns, and go from there. So.
Good.
Okay.
Is this, if this thing, the whole project comes to fruition, we're gonna have public hearings with all?
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is just the state. As you're aware, when you do a project this big, when you alter over a certain amount of land or you generate over a certain number of trips, you trip what is Mass Environmental Protection Agency permitting. And a lot of times a project this big will kind of start through that process as they gear up to start to file local permits as well. And part of this filing is a list of local actions they think are necessary. And that list right now did not include, I noticed, the variance they would need for the 25-foot town line separation. That's why we need to tag that and make them aware of that. But other than that, I don't understand, or I don't know right now what their timing will be in terms of filing for special permits and site plan approval with the 3 towns, but it won't surprise me for it to be fairly quickly.
But do you have dual, like the public hearing, is it dual with Uxbridge and Douglas together with us?
You can do it whatever way you want. It's not required to be. In the lease, you'll usually see, like, if we don't hold joint meetings, what you'll often see is I will go to Uxbridge's and Douglas's meetings and report back to you. You'll see the Douglas planner or economic development committee people at our meetings. So we almost always have staff going between hearings. In this case, we may all just still be doing Zoom meetings, which
Well,
makes it actually easy to participate together, or easier anyways.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we can hold joint ones. It's just a little tricky. I mean, we've done that with Grafton. And I don't know if we've done it with anybody else. We definitely did it with Grafton on the big housing project that was supposed to be behind the Orchard Estates subdivision.
No.
In the past 2 years, we've talked about how projects that have the blessing for more than just Sutton, but involve other towns and being part of a corridor that has a business district. We've talked about it, and now, as Bill's bringing up, it's going to be complicated, but I think it's the future. Or Sutton will stay Sutton, and other towns will get together and move on projects forward. So it's going to be a challenge for us. And my best, as board members, we have to always be thinking about Sutton first. So I guess I see it, we've been talking about it, now we're looking at it. So we're gonna have to
It's-
be a whole bunch uncharted territory for the Blackstone, the whole Blackstone Valley is going to get projects. If you want big projects, you're going to have to work with your neighbors, and
Yeah.
we're going to give
We're
and
gonna
take.
We have big lots in town that straddle town lines.
Absolutely.
It's
And-
inevitable.
Yeah, we're very fortunate because we have a great working relationship with all of our abutting towns. We've done plenty of projects with Northbridge, with Millbury, and Uxbridge and Douglas. So, you know, that's why we did the 4-town planning well over 15 years ago, so that the zoning in this area is very similar. We obviously had a few things that we needed to brush up on in terms of heights and use categories, but there was a time when Uxbridge wasn't zoned for this use at all, and that wasn't that long ago. As you know, they adopted multi-town mixed commerce unanimously at one of their town meetings last year. So, and now they stand, at least on this project, to gain the most, really, and are capitalizing on that in a lot of other ways within Uxbridge.
Thank God that Mike Gagan is paying attention, because he's the vice chair. So it's going to be on your watch. You'll be taking the ball and we hand it to you.
Good, Ted. Don't we have an article for this upcoming town meeting that allows these buildings to go across these lines like this? Isn't that one of our articles?
Well, our articles were nixed. We had 4 articles moving forward, and the selectmen decided at their last meeting that they will not place any articles on the fall town meeting that may be controversial or draw a crowd for 3 different reasons. And their reasoning is fairly sound. The first one is they're just generally worried about the health concerns of having too many people in a confined space. The second reason is they don't want people, especially with significant development like the one you're seeing or any in Northeast Sutton, to feel like they didn't have the ability to express concerns as things kind of move forward that enabled the projects. And the third thing is, as you saw in the multi-town mixed commerce vote, when you have a town meeting that could be sparsely attended, it's very easy for people on one side or another of an issue to stack a town meeting and cause a vote in one direction or another if there's not likely to be a good cross-section and representation of the town. So the selectmen felt really strongly that the 4 articles we were thinking about were important articles, and they encourage this kind of development. They just they didn't want a very small group of people or a group that may be skewed in favor or against or whatever to make the decision on these kind of things. They wanted a larger component of the town to be able to do that as a whole. So I don't think it's bad reasoning. We've been very transparent. We're trying to maintain transparency. Like I said, this entire ENF has been up on the town's website since a few days after it came in the mail. And it is what it is. Like you said, I mean, these kind of projects are going to continue moving forward.
Yeah, good.
So these people are, this thing's reading, they have a proposed start date of construction of March 2021.
Yeah, they're on a fast timetable. So like I said, I would expect local filings pretty quickly.
But this is not allowed in our town the way it is now.
Yeah, it's straddled. They'd have to go for a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals the way it straddles now.
Right. Yeah, 1 year of construction.
So again, if you can please review what you've been sent, write down a list of questions and/or concerns, and I'll start reviewing it in terms of, the traffic generation, permits that aren't on the list. The only one I've seen so far is the zoning board variance that would be required right now. Excuse me. And we'll put that all together and get our letter into MIPA And then, like I said, I won't be surprised to see this file at a local level relatively soon.
Sounds good.
Good.
Hmm.
We've been informed.
Anything else on the agenda tonight?
A motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Do we have a second? Okay, can we, we'll have a vote. Kyle,
Bill Bergeson,
Bill,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
and the chair, oh, Mike. Well, Molly Baker votes aye.
Mike, I think you can hear
Aye,
me.
so here we go, Jen. We got 6-0-0.
Adjourned at
Good night.
8:21.
Good job.
Good.
bye, everyone.
Yep, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.